What's up, Dynasty, with another quick MultiVersus video because Tony from Player1st Games has been very active on Twitter answering a lot of your guys' questions and concerns about, you guessed it, MultiVersus. So here we go, another episode, hashtag Tony Talks. Been like 10 days since our last episode. If you missed that, there's a card on the screen right now. We discussed how maybe, depending if the team has enough time, the game may or may not drop with local multiplayer. And for me bringing that up, people were really mad at myself for being the bearer of bad news instead of just being concerned about the fact that, well, this game could launch without offline multiplayer. Like, that's kind of a massive oversight in 2022 for a platform fighter, and I don't understand why I'm being attacked for simply expecting that. It's in the game, but not technically in the game. They're working on it. Eventually it will be added, but we just don't know when. Regardless of if you care about that or not, we still have a bunch of exciting questions answered by Tony from Player1st Games. So drop a like if you are still stoked for this game dropping sometime this year. And with that said, let's break down these questions. So first things first, what is the max resolution that MultiVersus plays on? And to that, Tony has confirmed the game will run at 60 FPS in 4K. However, the 60 FPS lock might be changed in the future if enough players complain and want that to be uncapped. So boom, there you go for your resolution junkies. 1,000,000 frames per second confirmed in a future update. Next up, Condiment King might be a playable character in MultiVersus? Maybe. It depends on if the player interest level for Condiment King is there, just like he asked if he'd want to see Mortal Kombat characters in the MultiVersus roster a few weeks ago. But yes, Tony took to Twitter asking if indeed we'd want to see Condiment King in MultiVersus, and honestly, I think that would be a match made in heaven for an obscure WB licensed character. Reminds me a lot of the Powder Toastman addition to Nickelodeon All-Star Brawl just a couple months ago. I love these crazy out-of-left-field obscure characters because they just give that added level of authenticity to a game's roster. Like, oh, that's the game with Condiment King? Someone 5-10 years from now will be saying that if this happens, so I want to see it happen. Hopefully the rest of the player base does too, and I'm excited to see what other weird, wacky characters from the WB umbrella make the final cut of the game's roster, because the options really are endless if Condiment King is even a possibility. So yes, may or may not happen, depends on if you want it, and if you do, let me know in the comment section down below. Next up, One Step took one for the team and asked Tony a question I've been wondering for a few weeks now, and he said, hey, Tony, will this game have a replay mode or a mode that lets you capture photos mid-game? And to that, Tony said, we're still exploring different ways to do this. So there you go. Unfortunately, at this point in time, not confirmed, not denied, but they are trying their best to figure something out so you can do both, hopefully, in MultiVersus. And I think he's been echoing the same response every time he's been asked this since then. So crossing my fingers, that's all I can do. Now, he was asked also what I thought was just kind of a no-brainer, but just to clarify some information so we know forever, he was asked if indeed perks could be obtained simply by using money, IRL cash, microtransactions, and to that, Tony said, playing. So indeed, again, to reiterate what they've been saying for weeks now, this game is not pay to win, it is pay for cosmetics. So you can unlock perks just like you can unlock characters by simply playing the game. So wipe the sweat off your forehead. Perks cannot be obtained with cash. You have to earn them in-game. Next up is a question from Jay in regards to a training mode. Jay's asking Tony if indeed the game will have a training mode, and if so, will it have important options like recording actions for CPUs to perform? To that, Tony says, yes, there is. You can currently set up the AI to a lot of different presets. Record and playback is planned, but not currently implemented. So kinda gutted, but hopefully, just like local multiplayer, in the near future, it gets added. So at least, at the very least, they are aware that people want some options and not just your super bare bones training mode. So crossing my fingers again that that gets implemented, because I know from an esports side of things, that's kind of important for a lot of people. Next up, Jeremy asked Tony if we'd be seeing different intros and outros for characters in MultiVersus. To that, Tony simply said yes. So variety for the intros and outros. Safe to assume you can probably unlock a lot of those in upcoming battle passes and seasons and stuff like that. So customization options for characters seem to really be endless in MultiVersus. Next up, unique in-game dialogue between fighters. It kind of seems to be the case. Now, when asked about that, Tony simply said, yes. Safe to assume Batman will have a few dedicated lines if he's going up against Superman. If we have Scorpion and Shaggy, I'm sure there's going to be a nice dialogue between the two. glad to know there will be unique dialogue in this game. And even on the character select screen, maybe? When asked if maybe the announcer voice would have a catchphrase for certain characters or unique dialogue to that, Tony simply said, yes, thanks for the question. So he did not elaborate. Unfortunately, I'm hoping that we have tons of nice little Easter eggs like this in between selecting different characters, different announcers. I'm excited to see the final options we get and the variety, and even just small fan service stuff like this. Like maybe if you pick Shaggy, you have Scooby doing the voiceover or something like that. It's gotta be a thing. Yeah. Unique dialogue, it's in here. You know what else is in here? Weight. Characters having weight. When asked if indeed characters in this game would feel different, have their own weight per se, individually per character, Tony simply said our characters are very different in terms of weight, feel, and movement. So every character will feel unique on the roster. Again, a big thumbs up from me. I read this, I got excited, I might have just fist bumped a few times. I'm excited to play this game. I want to see if Godzilla's in here and just how slow he is. The scale for the sizing too, how could they even figure that out? I guess we'll have to wait and see. Speaking of having to wait and see, I keep seeing Tony being asked if we'd get like super moves in MultiVersus, and instead of just shutting down the idea and saying no, he always simply says, we'll have to wait and see, but we're not ready to reveal yet. I'm not sure if that's because he doesn't want to say no and piss someone off, or if they really do have the door open, and potentially we might be seeing some super moves being added in the future, which I think is, I don't know, kind of a big deal. You know, even with like balancing the gameplay, like that's kind of a big deal. So to kind of just see that it's kind of like this approach being taken where it's like, we don't know, have to wait and see. Should probably figure that out soon. It should probably tell us soon, but I don't know. Maybe it's in the game. From what I saw from the playtest, I didn't see anybody even talking about like a special move in between the rosters, so I don't know what's going on, but the thought of seeing Ultra Instinct Shaggy go Ultra Instinct and do a wind-up punch that knocks you off the map instantly, one-hit KO, that would be really cool. But again, will they do it? Is it going to be called a super move? We don't know. We haven't even played the game, most of us, so crossing my fingers to get some more details on this. Regardless if there's a super move or not, I'm not too upset. But it is interesting to see how this is kind of like being swept under the rug and we're just waiting to see. Because it's gameplay, and that's kind of a big deal here. So yeah, we'll see what happens. Now next up, Birdie Gamer asked Tony, will there be an all-arounder or speedster class in MultiVersus? And to that, Tony said, we'll try to support all different types of playstyles. So boom, Flash confirmed, not really, but it is nice to know that they are aware. We want to cover every type of player, fighter in the realm of WB or even outside of WB, and the team apparently is up to the task. So we'll see who takes the helm as the speedster in MultiVersus. All we have to do is wait, and eventually we'll find out. Hopefully it's Reverse Flash or the Flash, because I think Flash in this game would be pretty damn cool. You know what else would be really damn cool? If indeed Tony listens to Killer on Twitter, who said, hey, if costumes and cosmetics are going to be paid for, why not give players who are playing on the free battle pass or for free a taste of those cosmetics they can unlock, maybe a free skin or two? And to that, Tony simply said, thanks for the suggestions, definitely want to make sure players see what they would be getting with cosmetics. So I'm crossing my fingers, and hopefully this means that there's going to be like a free battle pass, and still, despite not dropping money, a way to obtain some costumes, even if it's not the most crazy $5, $10 pack. Just give us an idea of what we can unlock on a free battle pass, and then have a paid battle pass so you can at least get a taste of the system. It's a win-win for everybody, and I hope that indeed these suggestions are being listened to. Next up, the Shader Gamer, shout out to him and his YouTube channel, asked Tony if we'd have some emotes in the game on par with the variety we have in Fortnite. And to that, Tony said, yep, I hope we can go crazy with emotes. I think there are already some really awesome ones. So this game will have emotes. Crazy ones, according to Tony. So if you ever wanted to display your emotions, guess what? This game, it's got you covered. You know what else has you covered? Yourself, if you already signed up for the playtest on the PC and even made it in and got registered, because if you already did that, you don't have to re-register to get into the future playtest again. This was made official by Tony, so if you are already playing in the most recent playtest, which chances are probably not most of us, but if you were one of those lucky few selected on the PC side of things, guess what? You don't have to sign up again. So claps all around. thumbs up, they got you covered. Richard wanted to know, do you have any rough estimate when the next big info drop for MultiVersus is? Looking forward to seeing what the devs have cooking up. And to that, Tony said, we're still working on it, making good progress, but no dates yet. So again, patience is a virtue. Just gotta sit back and wait and hope it's sooner rather than later. At the very least, at least we have confirmation a playtest for the console is gonna happen. And also they're working on a new trailer for MultiVersus, but again, no windows to work with, no release date yet. Taking it one day at a time, taking it by ear. Let's just see what happens. Now, the very last question to share with you guys, I thought was a very interesting and high note here. GMB Studios says, I have a question to ask if that's all right. I'm curious, out of the 13 characters you know so far coming in the game, which character was the hardest character to implement? And to that, Tony said every character was hard, but I really wanted to get Batman right because he's such an important character to me growing up. So he's the one that I was the most stressed over, but after a lot of trials, one day he clicked, and I think his kit works pretty well. We'll see if this ages once he gets into more players' hands. So, from the man himself, Tony, he put his blood, sweat, and tears into this game, but even more into making sure that Batman felt right. So as a Batman main, this makes me happy. But guys, that's all I got for y'all today. Again, a massive shout out to Tony and the team over at Playtest Games for being as transparent as they can be while the game is currently being developed. Of course, if these questions are questions that you had, hopefully they're now answered. And if not, keep in mind, Tony is always very active on Twitter. Chances are if you ask Tony a question, he'll probably get back to you as soon as he can. Don't bother him and spam him. Be nice, because he's a good person. But seems like they're trying their best, and they're really just taking it like how I think a lot of us are taking the times for like gaming, one day at a time. Things are always subject to change, but hopefully this did help you out. Before I go, I want to say a massive shout out to G2A.com for having your back when it comes to playing Mortal Kombat 9 on Steam. In case you missed it, you can no longer buy MK9 for sale on Steam anymore, and it might be because of the licensing rights for Freddy Krueger, but regardless, clicking the link down below sends you to G2A.com where you can buy an MK9 Steam key. From there, buy that key, redeem it in your Steam account, and just like that, you got MK9 with all the DLC, even though it's no longer being sold officially through that website marketplace anymore. But guys, if you did enjoy this video, take a second, drop a like on it, of course, subscribe to some more MultiVersus content like this on the channel. Until next time, I've been your host, been Dynasty. Guys, please take care, stay safe. I still think this game is going to be a massive success, regardless of the highs and lows. It's a free-to-play game. There's gonna be some hiccups. Best thing about this, though, is they're being really receptive to comments online, and that's all we can kind of ask for. The transparency, the communication. You'd be surprised. Some companies don't do this, so just be thankful. Be a bit optimistic here. See you all in the next video. Peace.
On it crack, but I'm not superstitious.